Northern Virginia is gearing up for a huge 2025 with home sales projected to be up over 10% and 51,000 new jobs coming to our area. And let's not forget, interest rates could be hitting the 5% range in hot spots like Loudoun County and Prince William County and Fauquier County growing up and having major changes coming on the horizon, especially with the new administration in DC. Today, I'm breaking down what this market shift might mean for you. If you don't know who I am, my name is Chris Colgan. I am a realtor here in the DMV area. If you are thinking about buying or selling a home, definitely email me anytime, info@colganteam.com. Let's get right into the video. All right, so we're already here in 2025, and we obviously started out with kind of a bad winter, but 2025 is expected to be a great year with sales expected to rise 9.8%, which is above the national average of 9%, with year-over-year price increase last year of 6.1%, and the median sold price in 2024 for the Washington, D.C. area hitting 590,000. Buyers are really coming back into full force. We're seeing a lot more people getting out there. We were just doing an open house over in the Gainesville area, and my team had over 30 people come to the open house. It was a townhouse listed for around $550,000. Now, interest rates are still in the high 6% range to the low 7% range, and we are still seeing a lot more buyers come out. How does this really affect the market? For example, townhomes last year were up 5.3%, rising to $565,000 of a medium sales price. Was strong market there for the mid-range homes, which I think is going to be something that we're going to see a lot more going forward. Now, here's one thing that's really interesting about the DMV, especially Northern Virginia. We only have 1.3 months of inventory of houses for sale. I was just down in Florida with my buddy, and we were in Orlando, and he was going through some of his market stats. They have over 7 months of inventory, meaning if no one listed their house for sale in the month of January, it would only take 1 month to get rid of all of the houses for sale here in the Northern Virginia area. I'm also seeing home buyers offer a little bit more on houses. We're going to get into that more in the video. I also see interest rates starting to stabilize. Yeah, of course, they're still around the 7% and high 6% range, but I think they could end the year at the low 6% range. Now, the big prices that I expect are going to do the best are anywhere from $500,000 to $700,000. That's where I'm definitely seeing the most amount of movement, with some of the luxury market taking a little bit longer, but obviously we don't have many homes under $500,000, if you can believe it, in the Northern Virginia area. All right, so where do I see home prices going? I actually see some moderate, pretty good growth over in the market. And beginning of like last year, I wasn't seeing the home builders sell as much. They were struggling a little bit, but now you're starting to see some of the new construction properties move. But one of the things that really shocked me when I was doing some research for this video, home prices for single family homes, the medium sales price is now $770,000 for a medium sales price here in Northern Virginia. That's up 7.5% year over year, when a lot of people predicted last year would be a down market. What really surprises me about that is you got to imagine with our area how much the election took away from people paying attention to houses and wanting to move, especially with all the talk of maybe government jobs going away, things like that. Now, condos, which have really been struggling in my opinion, and I'll tell you why, they're only up 3.8%, which is average with a medium sales price of $385,000. I think condos are going to continue to still struggle. Why is that? Well, get this, right? Most insurance companies are being very strict. If a condo building has a roof that's older than 10 years old, and they are jacking up those premiums, which of course the condo associations are having to pass down to the people that live there, of course, right? So keep that in mind. One of my customers said, hey, he called me and said, hey, I got a special assessment of $5,000 for my roof here at the condo, and I never even had to touch it. He asked me if that was legal, and I said, yeah, of course it is. It's legal in Virginia. You have 3 days to read the condo association. So definitely keep that in mind. I think the condo market is still going to struggle, especially when you're getting into like Manassas, Sterling, Ashburn, Woodbridge area. A lot of those condos were built in the 90s and late 80s. So that's something that you definitely want to keep your eye on. They still can be great rental properties or great properties for first-time home buyers. Some of the areas that I think will be leveling out and have more of a normal market is going to be your Ashburn, your Staffords, your Fairfax is still really unpopular, really on fire. Some of the outlying areas like Culpeper out to Winchester could see a flat market, but I think Ashburn, Gainesville, Haymarket, Springfield, Alexandria, Arlington should have a healthy year-over-year increase about 3 to 6%. Let me know in the comments below where you guys are watching from. All right, let's talk a little bit about new construction growth, right? Builders have been ramping up 2.6% increase in new housing starts or permits being pulled in our area. They're really focusing on single family and townhomes, especially. And these developments are exactly what our market needs. But guys, guess what? As you're driving around, unless you're probably like in the Brambleton area or parts of like Woodbridge, Virginia, you're not seeing many new construction properties. Why is that? Well, the data center boom, obviously, with all these data centers buying up all the properties. I was just driving around over in the Brambleton area and obviously over in the Haymarket area where I live as well. And there is tons of data centers going up. And guess what's not going there in lieu of data centers? No new houses. So that's why we still have a super low inventory over here. And also a lot of these data centers are bringing in very high paying jobs. I have a relative that I helped get a job at one of them and his starting salary was $100,000, which completely shocked me. Very young kid, good for him, right? But builders are also starting to do some incentives. I have been seeing some builders offer rate buy downs. How that works is what they'll say, hey, you know what, you probably see on the sign 4% interest rate. What they will do is they'll pay $20,000, $25,000 for your rate to go down to 4% the first year. The second year it goes to 5%. And then the third year it goes to the current interest rates with the hope that within the 3 years or so, you can be able to refinance. Is that one of the best things to do? Might not be, it might be, especially if you can get the builder to give you a credit for that. But like I said, I've been seeing builders offer somewhere around $25,000 and up for credits. Why is that? Again, we all know builders around here are definitely expensive and they do charge a premium. One of my favorite builders to work with has been DR Horton. We've done some great deals with them. They're pretty much building anywhere around here. Also Ryan Homes. So there's tons of small builders as well. If you are thinking about buying new, we can definitely represent you. It wouldn't cost you any money and we would be there with you the whole time throughout the whole transaction. We do a ton of new construction and we have a lot of great relationships with the builders. I actually do a lot of videos for them as well. Now let's talk about mortgage rates, right? As someone who recently went through some stuff with a loan, I definitely know it can be frustrating. They have been settling around the high 6% range. Why is that? The Fed has cut the rates a little bit, but not too much because the economy is still really strong. And as long as the economy is strong, they are going to keep the rates up. I don't see them getting in the 4 to 5% range, maybe the high 5 until the next 2 or 3 years. I think this year we're going to be stable around 6.5% to 7%. I don't think we will touch 8%. God forbid, that would not be great for our market because you know what? The average sales price around here is about $700,000. But even small changes, right? If it goes from 7 to 6.5, that can bring a lot of buyers off the sidelines, right? You're talking about $600,000 home. If you went down 1/4% or 0.5%, that's almost several $100s a month. So definitely keep that in mind. So real buyers are also putting a lot of their money towards upgrades and different things like that. One of the things that I'm really seeing in our area, if you are a seller, to keep in mind is a lot of buyers do not want to do any work. They want to go into a home that they can walk right into. I saw a stat the other day from Bright MLS, who runs our MLS, and they did a survey with all the buyers who bought during the fall. 70% said they did not want to do any work. They wanted to move into a house that they didn't have to do any work to, whether it was a condo, townhome, single family. So definitely keep that in mind. If you're thinking about selling, we can definitely meet with you and talk to you more about that. Now, one thing I will say is you might want to get an extended rate lock-in. If you can get around 6.75 to 6.5, I have a great lender that we definitely work with, and we can obviously refer you to them and you can sit down with them and have a conversation. That's something that you might want to check into to protect your budget, especially if you do end up doing new construction where these builds can be built out in a long time. What I usually see from contract to a close and around here in Northern Virginia is about 30 days. So the time that you write a contract, it gets accepted and then it goes to closings about 30 days. And then sometimes the seller will want a 30-day rent back. And if you are thinking about buying, I can definitely sit down with you and go through that process. I do it all the time with my YouTube viewers. But at the end of the day, I think the rates will end up around 6.5 to 6.75%. I do not see a huge drop. The one thing I will tell you is I am seeing some sellers who had that really low rate of like 3.5, 4% during COVID are deciding, hey, you know what? I got a new job. My family's getting bigger. I'm growing out of the townhouse. I'm seeing them be more open to moving. So definitely keep that in mind. I hope that brings some more inventory because like I said, we only have 1 month of inventory here in Northern Virginia. All right, so let's talk about where do I think the job market's going to go, right? That has obviously been a huge issue for our area with Donald Trump coming in and Elon Musk promising they were going to kind of cut the federal government. I was reading something. The government here is not as big as you would think it would be. It's not all the job. We obviously have a ton of tech jobs in the area, but even with all that talk, they're expecting 51,000 new jobs, and we only have a 2.9% unemployment rate here in Northern Virginia, which is well below the national average. So I definitely still see a lot of jobs on the horizon here. The tech sector is obviously blown up. Data centers coming in Loudoun, Prince William, Fairfax, Stafford, as far as Lake Anna, Virginia. I'm sure you've seen on the news, Amazon to Google, some of these other companies are obviously obviously chipping in to help Dominion Power bring more power to our area. I just saw the other day that a small power plant that I didn't even know existed sold for $1 billion over in Loudoun County. So obviously there's going to be a lot of things going on in the utility market, but a lot of buyers are already moving here for jobs. I'm getting a lot of calls from my YouTube and Instagram people as well. They're also expecting 9,000 new construction jobs coming to our area with all the construction going on. We've got new hospitals coming in. We've got the water park coming in. We've got all these data centers coming in. We've got potentially brand new developments coming in Loudoun and Prince William County. So there's all kinds of construction going on. So that is one thing that I will tell you. I think our job market is going to be pretty strong here. As far as like the government moving things, I don't have a magic wand, right? But you can't just go off and lay a bunch of federal workers off. You do have to go through a process through Congress. So hopefully that kind of slows the talk down a little bit, but who knows where that will bring. But I definitely think the tech sector, especially in the construction sector and the health center, are going to bring a lot more jobs to our area. Let's talk a little bit more about our market in general. One of the things that I've really seen is a lot of people have moved out of DC and going into Alexandria and Arlington. They are still really hot markets for sure. Obviously, the closer you're going to be into DC and Amazon HQ2 and the Pentagon National Airport, it's going to be a lot more expensive. What I have seen though is some people are willing to do somewhat of a commute and go outside of those areas. The condo markets in Alexandria and Arlington are still struggling somewhat. Just keep that in mind. If you are thinking about moving here, you don't know much about the area, Arlington and Alexandria are going to be your best bet as far as not needing a car, being walkable, being able to hop on the metro. The townhome market there is very popular. The single family market can get really expensive, especially when you go over into Arlington. Arlington is probably one of the more expensive places in all of the United States. I definitely see Fairfax County definitely still being on fire. I want to say Fairfax County is one of the hottest real estate markets in all of the United States. Why is that? Well, a lot of people were moving further out west, moving south because they were working remote. Well, guess what? The administration just said everybody's going to come back to the office. So what's happening? A lot of people who are working for Amazon or the Pentagon, Nestle, Capital One, they're moving to places like Centerville, Herndon, Reston with all the things going in there. So I definitely think Fairfax County is still going to be very hot with an average sales price of what, around $880,000. Fairfax is definitely not a cheap market, but one of the better job markets for sure. I also think Loudoun and Prince William are going to be fairly strong. I think prices will go up anywhere to 3 to 6%. It's a lot of first-time home buyers to a lot of younger families because of all the new schools out there as well. Still comes new construction coming in over in Loudoun County. You don't see it as much in Prince William County. There's just not much more land out in Northern Virginia, right? One thing I will tell you is I think some of the outlying areas might be hurt a little bit, especially with this new call to drive into work. So like the Winchesters of the world, which I just saw is like the fastest growing city in all of Virginia, Front Royal, Culpeper, they could see somewhat of a slowdown, but think about it. You can get a single family in Front Royal, Virginia for around $350,000 to $500,000, even brand new around $550,000. I have 2 YouTube viewers under contract for houses out there. And yeah, you got to take a somewhat of a commute, but if you're working in Ashburn, Sterling, or maybe even McLean, it's only about a 45-minute to an hour-long drive. Yes, it can be a long drive with traffic, but definitely keep that in mind too. I think some of the outlying areas will definitely have somewhat of a slowdown. If you are a buyer, what is my best advice if you are thinking about buying a home? Well, definitely hit me up first. info@colganteam.com. You know, me and my team know a ton about the marketplace here. We pretty much sell everywhere in the DMV area. The best thing that we do is we usually sit down and do a Zoom with you or in person, and we walk you through the whole process. What I tell people is, let's go ahead, get you pre-approved. We can connect you with our lender. They can get you approved usually within a couple of hours. That way, you know, hey, this is my rate. This is the type of loan I'm going to be doing. Will it be a USDA, which is no money down, or a VHDA that's no money down, or a conventional, or FHA, which is 5 to 10% down? That way we have a good price point that we can get you with. What happens a lot of times too is people will say, hey, what do you think about this area? And I'll say, hey, you know what? I like that area, but you might want to consider X just because of your budget. So that's one thing that you definitely want to keep that in mind. That's something we can walk you through. Definitely just don't go on websites and start hitting buttons like Zillow and Redfin, because you're going to have a million annoying realtors hit you up. Not like amazing, great ones like me, of course. I'm just kidding, but definitely keep that in mind. We can also talk to you about where are great places to buy. What are your home buying goals? If you are a seller right now, presentation is everything. You're going to have to do a little bit of work. I just sold a house over in Fairfax. It went for $1 million plus. It needed some work. I have a company. I don't own the company, but I work with the company. They came out, they did a bunch of work to the house, and they didn't get paid until the house went to closing. Guess what? The house got bid up an extra $100,000. And I'm sure it was because we had the seller do that extra work, and the seller didn't have to pay the company until they got paid. So we do work with crazy programs like that. We do staging, high-end video, high-end photography, all kinds of different things. So if you're a seller, definitely think about like when you want to move as well. Keep in mind the summer in Northern Virginia and DC, it's so hot around here and everyone's in Outer Banks or Lake Anna, Tennessee on vacation. Not many people are looking to be out buying. So that's one thing that I would keep in mind for sure. So to wrap this video up, where do I think the market will go at the end of the day? I think prices should go up around 5 to 8 to 10%, barring some kind of like national emergency, right? Which I hope to God doesn't happen. But I think rates will stabilize, the job market should stabilize, and our market here should be very healthy. We're going to still see this frustratingly low inventory. I really don't like it when there's not many houses for sale because it's harder for buyers, but we can get you into a house. If you are thinking about buying or selling a home, text me anytime on the number below. Email me info@colganteam.com. If you guys find this video helpful, definitely hit that subscribe button and comment below.